Hello everyone, my name is Mary Mercy. I am God, and today, I will continue to introduce to everyone the next part of my book, God's Truth. Chapter 3, The Truth of Government, Part 2. Please enjoying your journey of discovery all the mystery of life with God now. This is the judgment issued by me, God, the Supreme Judge in the universe, written as follows. In the Supreme Court of the Heaven and the Universe, in the Supreme Court of the United States of America, articles of impeachment against Joseph Robinette Biden and his officials on November 18, 2022. The impeachment and the oath, impeaching Joe Biden, President of Lies and Sins, for abuse of power, high crimes, bribery, and shall be convicted of treason on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, treason, and harm the people of the United States. Violation of the Constitution of the United States and intentional levying civil war against them. The first witness is me, the Mother of the Universe. And the second is the people of the United States. The President, Vice President, and all his civil officers shall be removed from office on impeachment for, and conviction of, treason, abuse of power, bribery, and violation of the Constitution of the United States, high crimes, and enact a law to kill unborn babies, cover up criminals, and release prisoners. Harming President Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans Party, and harming the American people. Article of impeachment exhibited by me, Mother of the Universe. In the name of God and of the people of the United States of America, against Joe Biden, President of Lies and Sins, treason, abuse of power, and harm to the people of the United States, bribery, and violation of the Constitution of the United States, and intentional levying civil war against them. In maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for, Article 3, Section 3, Clause 1. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. In his conduct while the President of the United States, Joe Biden was in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has allowed abortion laws, its murder, has allowed his public office to be used for the personal enrichment of family and associates, treason, bribery, and violation of the Constitution of the United States, high crimes, cover up criminals and release prisoners, harming President Donald Trump and harming the American people, in that his son, Hunter Biden, allegedly used his personal access to the White House to execute large contracts with foreign companies to represent their interests before the United States. Despite having no experience or expertise in the industries and fields engaged in by these foreign companies, and 1. In certain communications regarding a foreign deal and discussing payment to provide this access, it is specified that 10% is to be set aside with Hunter, for the big guy. This is widely interpreted to be a reference to Joseph Robinette Biden. And 2. It would seem many of Hunter Biden's private deals with foreign companies were negotiated or executed on trips conducted at taxpayer expense as part of Joseph Robinette Biden's official presidential duties. And 3. Joseph Robinette Biden appears to have made no effort to stop what appears to be unethical and illegal trading of personal access. Hunter Biden was a U.S. Secret Service protective from January 29, 2009, to July 8, 2014. A day before his last trip as a protective, Time published an article describing Burisma's ramped-up lobbying efforts to U.S. officials and Hunter's involvement in Burisma's board. Before ending his protective detail, Hunter Biden received Secret Service protection on trips to multiple foreign locations, including Moscow, Beijing, Doha, Paris, Seoul, Manila, Tokyo, Mexico City, Milan, Florence, Shanghai, Geneva, London, Dublin, Munich, Berlin, Bogota, Abu Dhabi, Nairobi, Hong Kong, Taipei, Buenos Aires, Copenhagen, Johannesburg, Brussels, Madrid, Mumbai, and Lake Como. In March 2009, Joseph Robinette Biden flew to Costa Rica to meet with that country's president. At the same time, his brother Frank Biden sought building contracts in that country and after meeting with Joseph Robinette Biden, the Costa Rican president met with Frank Biden. A few months later, the Costa Rican government gave Frank Biden a lucrative contract to build a luxury golf course despite Biden having no experience in that field, and in 2016. The Costa Rican government also awarded Frank Biden a contract to build solar energy facilities that were funded by a $6.5 million United States taxpayer-funded loan from a program spearheaded by Joseph Robinette Biden. Joseph Robinette Biden appears to have made no effort to stop what appears to be unethical trading of personal access and profit from taxpayer funds. In one 2010 email with the subject line, JRB Future Memo, JRB or Joe Biden's initials, Eric Schwerin, president of Rosemont Seneca Partners, Hunter's Chinese-linked investment firm, told Hunter that his father was anxious to learn more about how he would be paid going forward. It read, "Your dad just called me about his mortgage and mentioned he'd be out a lot soon and not really back until Labor Day. He could use some positive news about his future earnings potential." In 2010, his brother James Biden was given an executive position in the Hillstone homebuilding business, despite having no experience or expertise in homebuilding. This occurred 3 weeks after the company's president, Kevin Justice, a Biden family friend, met with a Biden advisor in the White House. And the company touted James Biden's nearly 40 years of experience dealing with principals in business, political, legal and financial circles across the nation and internationally, and James Biden's hiring, 3 weeks after meeting with a Joe Biden advisor in the White House, came as Hillstone sought contracts with the United States government for overseas construction contracts, and within 3 weeks of providing a job to James Biden, Hillstone was awarded a contract to construct 100,000 homes in Iraq that were expected to triple the company's revenue, a $22 million contract with the State Department, and David Richter, son of the parent company's founder, allegedly told investors at a private meeting that the company's success was really helped by having the brother of the vice president as a partner, and Joseph Robinette Biden appears to have made no effort to stop what appears to be unethical trading of personal access and profit from taxpayer funds. In 2013, Hunter Biden and his daughter Finnegan Biden traveled to China with then Vice President Joe Biden on Air Force Two on a 6-day official trip. Joe Biden met with Chinese President Xi Jinping and was introduced by Hunter to his Chinese business partner, Jonathan Li. In late 2013 and into 2014, mass protests erupted in Kyiv, Ukraine, demanding integration into Western economies and an end to systemic corruption that had plagued the country. At least 82 people were killed during the protests, which culminated on February 21 when Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych abdicated by fleeing the country. Less than 2 months later, over the span of only 28 days, significant events involving the Bidens unfolded. In 2014, Joe Biden played golf with Hunter Biden and Devon Archer, a business partner of Hunter's who served with him on the board of Burisma. Archer was later convicted and spent a year in prison for defrauding a PROLOGUE tribe of American Indians. On April 16, 2014, Vice President Biden met with his son's business partner, Devon Archer, at the White House. 5 days later, Vice President Biden visited Ukraine, and he soon after was described in the press as the public face of the administration's handling of Ukraine. The day after his visit, on April 22, Archer joined the board of Burisma. 6 days later, on April 28, British officials seized $23 million from the London bank accounts of Burisma's owner, Mykola Zlochevsky. 14 days later, on May 12, Hunter Biden joined the board of Burisma and over the course of the next several years, Hunter Biden and Devon Archer were paid millions of dollars from a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch for their participation on the board. The 2014 protests in Kyiv came to be known as the Revolution of Dignity, a revolution against corruption in Ukraine. Following that revolution, Ukrainian political figures were desperate for U.S. support. Zlochevsky would have made sure relevant Ukrainian officials were aware of Hunter's appointment to Burisma's board as leverage. Hunter Biden's position on the board created an immediate potential conflict of interest that would prove to be problematic for both U.S. and Ukrainian officials and would affect the implementation of Ukraine policy. Hunter Biden was serving on Burisma's board, supposedly consulting on corporate governance and transparency, when Zlochevsky allegedly paid a $7 million bribe to officials serving under Ukraine's Prosecutor General, Vitaly Yarema, to shut the case against Zlochevsky. Kent testified that this bribe occurred in December 2014, 7 months after Hunter joined Burisma's board, and after learning about it, he and the resident legal advisor reported this allegation to the FBI. In early 2015, the former acting deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv, Ukraine, George Kent, raised concerns to officials in Vice President Joe Biden's office about the perception of a conflict of interest with respect to Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board. Kent's concerns went unaddressed, and in September 2016, he emphasized in an email to his colleagues, furthermore, the presence of Hunter Biden on the Burisma board was very awkward for all U.S. officials pushing an anti-corruption agenda in Ukraine. In 2015, Burisma executive and advisor Vadim Pozharsky sent Hunter Biden an email that said, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving me an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together. It's reality, an honor and pleasure, dinner with the Russians, Ukrainians, and Kazahstanis." Also in 2015, Joe Biden had dinner at the swanky Washington, D.C. Cafe Milano with Hunter's business associates from Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan, including the former Prime Minister Karim Massimos. In October 2015, senior State Department official Amos Hochstein raised concerns with Vice President Biden, as well as with Hunter Biden, that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma's board enabled Russian disinformation efforts and risked undermining U.S. policy in Ukraine. Although Kent believed that Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board was awkward for all U.S. officials pushing an anti-corruption agenda in Ukraine, the committees are only aware of two individuals, Kent and former U.S. Special Envoy and Coordinator for International Energy Affairs Amos Hochstein, who raised concerns to Vice President Joe Biden, Hochstein, or his staff, Kent. In 2015, then Vice President Joe Biden hosted a group of Hunter's Mexican business associates at the official vice presidential residence, including Mexican billionaires Carlos Slim and Miguel Alemán Velasco. Former Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs Victoria Nuland testified that confronting oligarchs would send an anti-corruption message in Ukraine. Kent told the committees that Zlochevsky was an odious oligarch, However, in December 2015, instead of following U.S. objectives of confronting oligarchs, Vice President Biden's staff advised him to avoid commenting on Zlochevsky and recommended he say, "I'm not going to get into naming names or accusing individuals." In 2016, Hunter messaged Velasco's son complaining that he had not yet received any favors for bringing his father and the other Mexican associates to meet with Joe Biden. He said, "I have brought every single person you have ever asked me to bring to the feeing White House and the Vice President's house, the Vice President, and the inauguration." Andriy Telizhenko, the Democrats' personification of Russian disinformation, met with Obama administration officials, including Elizabeth Zentos, a member of Obama's National Security Council, at least 10 times. A Democrat lobbying firm, Blue Star Strategies, contracted with Telizhenko from 2016 to 2017 and continued to request his assistance as recently as the summer of 2019. A recent news article detailed other extensive contacts between Telizhenko and Obama administration officials. In addition to the over $4 million paid by Burisma for Hunter Biden's and Archer's board memberships, Hunter Biden, his family, and Archer received millions of dollars from foreign nationals with questionable backgrounds. Black Circle Archer received $142,300 from Kenjiz Rakishev of Kazakhstan, purportedly for a car. The same day Vice President Joe Biden appeared with Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk and addressed Ukrainian legislators in Kyiv regarding Russia's actions in Crimea. Black Circle Hunter Biden received a $3.5 million wire transfer from Elena Baturina, the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. Black Circle Hunter Biden opened a bank account with Gongwen Dong to fund a $100,000 global spending spree with James Biden and Sarah Biden. Black Circle Hunter Biden had business associations with Yi Jianming, Gongwen Dong, and other Chinese nationals linked to the Communist government and the People's Liberation Army. Those associations resulted in millions of dollars in cash flow. Black Circle Hunter Biden paid non-resident women who were nationals of Russia or other Eastern European countries and who appear to be linked to an Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. Joe Biden, in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of Vice President of the United States and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, abused the judicial process and powers of his office. In that, 1. Joseph Robinette Biden participated in a January 5, 2017, meeting in the Oval Office with President Barack Obama, Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, FBI Director James Comey, and National Security Advisor Susan Rice, in which they reportedly discussed a plan to wiretap and monitor top advisors of incoming President Donald Trump and how to conceal this operation from Trump. And 2. These wiretaps were secured using warrants that now appear to have been falsified. And 3. Several top Obama-Biden White House officials were accused of illegally leaking to the media the contents of these wiretapped phone calls. And 4. The purpose of this operation was to falsely accuse incoming President Trump of Russian collusion, to smear him, establish impeachment charges, and falsely remove President Trump from office. He's the big guy. Former Hunter Biden business partner Joni Bobulinski has revealed he was introduced to Joe Biden by Hunter Biden in Los Angeles in 2017. Hunter told his father that Bobulinski is the one who's helping us with the business we're doing with the Chinese. Bobulinski has said Joe Biden is the big guy, who was to get a 10% share in a deal. They were working with CEFC China Energy. Joe Biden told Bobulinski to keep an eye on my son and brother and look out for my family. In 2017, Hunter Biden rented an office in Washington. DC's House of Sweden, which houses the Swedish Embassy, for the Biden Foundation and Hudson West, CEFCUS. Keys were given to Jill Biden, Joe Biden's brother James, and a Chinese executive named Gongwen Dong. Joe Biden wrote recommendation letters to Brown University and Georgetown University on behalf of the son and daughter of one of Hunter Biden's powerful Chinese business associates, Jonathan Lee. In one of its many bombshell reports about Biden's ill-gotten gains from foreign sources, the New York Post revealed the existence of a bank account shared by Hunter and Joe Biden. It read, in May 2018, during a drug and alcohol binge in Los Angeles, Hunter Biden accidentally transferred around $25,000 to an escort named Gulnora. He was immediately visited by the Secret Service suggesting that the money came from a joint account with his father. Hunter received a series of text messages from a former agent who repeatedly urged him to come out of his hotel room and reminded him, this is linked to Celtic's account. Celtic was Joe Biden's Secret Service code name when he was vice president. Joint accounts. Joint meetings and dinners with Chinese, Russian, Ukrainian, Mexican, and Kazakhstani government and business operatives. Traveling together on Air Force Two to China. Hunter Biden himself admitted in 2019 to New Yorker magazine that he and his father had discussed Hunter's job on the board of the pro-Russia Ukraine energy company Burisma Holdings, which paid him as much as $83,333 a month. Hunter recalled, Dad said, I hope you know what you are doing. Hunter complains about sharing ill-gotten gains with Pop in a 2019 text message to his daughter Naomi. Hunter Biden complained, I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's hard, but don't worry, unlike Pop, Joe Biden, I won't make you give me half your salary. The chairman's investigation into potential conflicts of interest began in August 2019. With Chairman Grassley's letter to the Department of Treasury regarding potential conflicts of interest with respect to Obama administration policy relating to the Henniges transaction. During the Obama administration, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, approved a transaction that gave control over Henniges, an American maker of anti-vibration technologies with military applications, to a Chinese government-owned aviation company and a China-based investment firm with established ties to the Chinese government. One of the companies involved in the Henniges transaction was a billion-dollar private investment fund called Bohai Harvest RST, BHR. BHR was formed in November 2013 by a merger between the Chinese government-linked firm Bohai Capital and a company named Rosemont Seneca Partners. Rosemont Seneca was formed in 2009 by Hunter Biden, the son of then Vice President Joe Biden, by Chris Hines, the stepson of former Secretary of State John Kerry, and others. Access to relevant documents and testimony has been persistently hampered by criminal investigations, impeachment proceedings, COVID-19, and several instances of obstructive behavior. Accordingly, this investigation has taken longer than it should have. The chairman's efforts have always been driven by our belief that the public has the right to know about wrongdoing and conflicts of interest occurring within government, especially those conflicts brought about by the actions of governmental officials. This is a good government oversight investigation that relies on documents and testimony from U.S. agencies and officials, not a Russian disinformation campaign, as our Democratic colleagues have falsely stated. What the chairman discovered during this investigation is that the Obama administration knew that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma's board was problematic and did interfere in the efficient execution of policy with respect to Ukraine. Moreover, This investigation has illustrated the extent to which officials within the Obama administration ignored the glaring warning signs when the vice president's son joined the board of a company owned by a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch. And, as will be discussed in later sections, Hunter Biden was not the only Biden who cashed in on Joe Biden's vice presidency. This report not only details examples of extensive and complex financial transactions involving the Bidens, but it also describes the quandary other U.S. government officials faced as they attempted to guide and support Ukraine's anti-corruption efforts. The committees will continue to evaluate the information and evidence as it becomes available. The awkwardness for Obama administration officials continued well past his presidency. Former Secretary of State John Kerry had knowledge of Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board, but when asked about it at a town hall event in Nashua, New Hampshire, on December 8, 2019, Kerry falsely said, "I had no knowledge about any of that." None. No. Evidence to the contrary is detailed in Section V. Joe Biden, in violation of his constitutional oath to faithfully execute the office of Vice President of the United States and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, has called for gross violations of constitutional protections, in that 1. Joseph Robinette Biden appears ready to violate his oath to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States through a plan to unconstitutionally criminalize the sale and ownership of basic arms and seek the confiscation of legally owned arms through a mandatory buyback plan. And 2. Joseph Robinette Biden is expected to violate his oath to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States through a plan to sign or execute orders rooted in the United Nations policy that would violate constitutional protections and the laws of the United States, such as the UN's Small Arms Treaty, to ban many privately owned arms and an international criminal court that violates the due process rights of Americans, and the big money behind the big lie. In his conduct as the former Vice President and current President of the United States, in violation of his constitutional oath faithfully to execute the offices of the Vice Presidency and President of the United States and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, Joseph Robinette Biden abused the power of the office of the Vice President, enabling bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors, by allowing his son to influence the domestic policy of a foreign nation and accept various benefits, including financial compensation, from foreign nationals in exchange for certain favors. As Vice President, Joseph Biden was the senior Obama administration official overseeing anti-corruption efforts in Ukraine. Hence, any illegal activity involving corruption conducted by Hunter Biden within or in relation to Ukraine would fall under the purview of the Office of Vice President Biden and the Obama State Department's anti-corruption efforts. In fact, many State Department officials within the Obama administration repeatedly registered reservations about Hunter Biden's role on the board of a corrupt company. Thus, any instances of corruption on behalf of Hunter Biden via his role as a board member of the Ukrainian-operated Burisma energy firm were either not investigated or covered up. The evidence of widespread knowledge, corruption, and collusion on behalf of the Biden family with foreign nationals is clear and compelling, irrefutable. Among other examples, it has been materially demonstrated that 1. According to the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs and the U.S. Senate Committee on Finance, the Vice President's office and State Department officials were aware of but ignored concerns relating to Hunter Biden's role on the board of a Ukrainian-based natural gas company, hereafter Burisma. 2. According to the same sources, Hunter Biden's and his family's financial transactions with Ukrainian, Russian, Kazakh, and Chinese nationals raise criminal concerns and extortion threats. 3. In early 2015, the former acting deputy chief of mission at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv, Ukraine, George Kent, raised concerns to officials in Vice President Joe Biden's office about the perception of a conflict of interest with respect to Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board. Kent's concerns went unaddressed, and in September 2016, he emphasized in an email to his colleagues, furthermore, the presence of Hunter Biden on the Burisma board was very awkward for all U.S. officials pushing an anti-corruption agenda in Ukraine. 4. In October 2015, senior State Department official Amos Hochstein raised concerns with Vice President Biden, as well as with Hunter Biden, that Hunter Biden's position on Burisma's board enabled Russian disinformation efforts and risked undermining U.S. policy in Ukraine. Vice President Biden did not resolve this conflict of interest. Instead, he enabled it. 5. In addition to the over $4 million paid by Burisma for Hunter Biden's board membership, Hunter Biden and his family received millions of dollars from foreign nationals with questionable backgrounds. Specifically, the ongoing FBI investigation into Hunter Biden's laptop revealed that Hunter received a 2.8 carat diamond gift from a high-ranking Chinese official in 2017. Hunter Biden told the New Yorker magazine that he felt uncomfortable receiving the diamond and gave it to other associates. 6. Hunter Biden had business associations with Yi Jianming, founder of the CEFC China Energy Company, Limited, Gongwen Dong, and other Chinese nationals linked to the communist government and the People's Liberation Army. Those associations resulted in millions of dollars in cash flow. There exists a vast web of corporate connections and financial transactions between and among the Biden family and Chinese nationals. 7. Hunter Biden paid non-resident women who were nationals of Russia or other Eastern European countries and who appear to be linked to an Eastern European prostitution or human trafficking ring. 8. In 2016, Ukraine's top anti-corruption prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, had an active and ongoing investigation into Burisma and its owner, Mykola Zlochevsky. At the time, Hunter Biden continued to serve on Burisma's board of directors. According to news reports, then Vice President Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in United States loan guarantees if Ukraine's leaders did not dismiss Shokin. After that, Ukraine's parliament fired Shokin. 9. Hunter Biden received millions of dollars from foreign sources because of business relationships that he built during the period when his father was Vice President of the United States and after. The financial transactions which Hunter engaged in illustrate serious counterintelligence and extortion concerns relating to Hunter Biden and his family. 10. Hunter Biden's work with Chinese nationals connected to the communist regime illustrate the deep financial connections that accelerated while his father was vice president and continued after he left office. 11. On June 23, 2011, Sean Conlon, a business associate of Hunter Biden, suggested that a $10 billion deal could be struck in exchange for certain persons meeting Vice President Biden. This shows deliberate pay-for-play and quid pro quo. The email, in full, to Robert Biden, from Sean Conlon is as follows. A. So, we have an engagement letter. If they get the other 10 bonds, they have a face value of 10B. While it is far-fetched, Devin, Archer, said he talked to his professor, and these get traded. We get 10% in fees. We need to get these guys to an event or something where they get to just formally meet your dad. For follow-on they can talk to the chief of staff. Let me know how soon we can do that. V. Brief. If Nagy gets that done, we get more bonds to move. Regards, your hard-working partner in Positano. Sean emphasis added. 12 emails between Hunter Biden and his cousin reveal that the president of Hunter's Chinese Communist Party-linked firm, Eric Schwerin, repeatedly asked Hunter for an appointment to the Commission for the Preservation of America's Heritage Abroad, a position he ultimately received. The email from Hunter to his cousin, Missy, regarding the request for the appointment to the commission is as follows. In December 2013, Joe Biden went on a high-level tour of China. What is behind the scenes? But what is unusual is that Joe Biden took his son Hunter Biden on Air Force Two with him to China. This was an official trip, and Hunter Biden wasn't an official of the U.S. government. In truth, it was a show for Joe to introduce his son Hunter to the powerful, tight-knit communist rulers of China who were flush with cash and eager to make a deal. It was Joe Biden's not at all subtle hint to the Chinese KY communists that if they wanted him to look favorably on them, they had to take care of his son Hunter. And less than 2 weeks after Joe and Hunter Biden visited China, Hunter's firm, Rosemont Seneca Partners, finalized a deal to open a massive investment fund called BHR Partners, even though Hunter Biden lacked the relevant experience as an investor. BHR Partners raised over $2.5 billion to invest in an array of industries, including energy, technology, and artificial intelligence companies. Who was the biggest shareholder in Hunter Biden's fund? That's the Chinese Communist government that runs the Bank of China. Yes, Joe Biden took his son Hunter with him to China on an official trip. And Hunter left China with what can only be described as a massive bribe. In 2014, Biden's BHR Partners became an anchor investor in China General Nuclear Power Company, CGN, a state-owned business. 2 years later, CGN was charged with espionage by the Justice Department for stealing U.S. nuclear secrets. And in 2015, Biden's BHR Partners began working with the Chinese aerospace company AVIC to acquire American companies that made dual-use technologies with civilian and military uses. A year later, AVIC introduced China's J-20 stealth fighter, a rip-off of the F-35 based on plans that the Chinese hacked from our computer systems. Do you see the pattern there? The Chinese communist is stealing our sensitive defense secrets and using Joe Biden as an accomplice for cover it. Biden appears to have been a member of a corporate entity set up to funnel money from a communist Chinese party-controlled energy company to the Biden family. Documents and evidence confirm that a portion of the ownership stake in the company was set aside for the big guy. Testimony confirms that person to be Joe Biden. Hunter Biden's companies took enormous sums of money from various countries that Joe Biden oversaw during the Obama administration. Several of these payoffs came from sources that now directly threaten our national security. Included in these illicit payments were $3.5 million from the wife of the former mayor of Moscow to Hunter and a reported $1.5 billion investment in his company by the Bank of China, which is completely controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Ukraine, an ally of the United States, was struggling to fight off Russian advances and invasion. Promised aid from the United States to Ukraine by the Obama administration was threatened by Joe Biden unless a prosecutor who was investigating Burisma, a company that was paying Biden's son millions of dollars, was fired. Joe later bragged about getting the prosecutor fired. This constitutes a blatant conflict of interest and quid pro quo. Joe Biden was reportedly made aware of his various and egregious conflicts of interest around the globe on multiple occasions by Obama administration officials. The official Senate record already has witness testimony confirming numerous occasions when career diplomats warned Joe Biden of conflicts of interest yet were shut down and silenced. Several other members of the Biden family have been confirmed to have benefited greatly from Joe Biden's power and influence. His brothers fleeced taxpayer funds and were awarded billion-dollar government contracts without the necessary experience or qualifications. In addition to the corruption and abuses above, Joe Biden has shown a reckless disregard for the Constitution and the rule of law in America. He has blatantly and without remorse refused to uphold the United States law regarding immigration and defense of our southern border, attacked the Second Amendment, laid out an unconstitutional plan to take over healthcare with a socialized healthcare system, stonewalled and refused to be a participant in the Senate Intelligence Committee's oversight and investigation into the Biden family corruption and his abuse of power, advocated defunding the police, threatening the safety of all citizens. It's time. The Republican Congress must impeach Joe Biden as soon as possible. Follow to this impeachment I already sent out on November 18, 2022. Please follow to God order. 1. Colluding with the January 6 show trial to destroy President Trump. The reckless FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago suggested Biden's DOJ has been working with the partisan January 6 witch hunt to do everything possible to prevent Trump from running again in 2024. 2. Failure to defend the borders of the United States from invasion. The Biden administration stopped Trump's successful border policies, handcuffed CBP agents, flew illegal aliens to cities across America in the dead of night, waived COVID requirements for illegals, and left border towns defenseless under a deluge of thousands of illegal invaders. 3. Waging an official government war on America's oil and gas industries. Joe Biden canceled the Keystone Pipeline, banned offshore drilling, restored crippling regulations on oil and gas companies, and more, causing energy prices to skyrocket. 4. Endangering U.S. security by releasing oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve instead of allowing domestic oil production. Biden released millions of barrels from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve to temporarily lower gasoline prices, putting our national security at risk. 5. Selling oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to Communist China. The Biden administration also aided our most dangerous enemy by selling reserve oil to a communist Chinese energy company with ties to Hunter Biden. 6. A Justice Department FBI cover-up of evidence against Hunter Biden and failure to investigate shady dealings of other Biden family members. Whistleblowers have claimed the FBI and DOJ have deliberately failed to follow up on evidence that Joe Biden was the big guy who would get 10% of Hunter's illicit business profits in China. 7. Failure to hold China accountable for the COVID pandemic. COVID-19. Biden has refused to support an official investigation into the possibility that China manufactured and unleashed it on the world. 8. Failure to defend the lives of Supreme Court justices. Harassing federal judges is a federal crime, yet Biden's Attorney General did nothing to prosecute the radical leftists who threatened the conservative Supreme Court justices over the court's reversal of Roe v. Wade. 9. Weaponizing the FBI against parents opposed to critical race theory. The Biden Justice Department labeled parents opposed to CRT and masking policies as domestic terrorists and weaponized the federal government against them. 10. Violating federal law by mandating boys must be allowed in girls' sports. The Biden administration deliberately undermined Title IX protections for girls' sports by mandating that boys and men be allowed to compete in girls' sports. In all of this, President Biden gravely endangered the security of the United States and its institutions of government. Through blatant nepotism, he enabled his son to influence foreign policy and financially benefit because of his role as vice president. He supported his son engaging in collusion with Chinese Communist Party-linked officials. He allowed his son to trade appointments with his father and other high-ranking administration officials in exchange for financial compensation. He permitted his son to take money from Russian oligarchs, including Elena Baturina, the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. Further, the proof of inflation, protests, civil war, homeless crisis, borders crises, illegal crisis, crimes crises, economic crisis, defunding the police, shootings, a lot of people have committed suicide, lost all their possessions, and become homeless. Murder, fraud, scam and lies and bankruptcies are rampant throughout the United States, etc. Tragic troops withdrawal damage in Taliban, the war between Russia and Ukraine. And now China with Taiwan. Isn't that the result of who? How many American soldiers died in the Taliban? It's because of the heartlessness and irresponsibility of Joe Biden. How much money did you and your son Hunter Biden corrupt from the communists? Russia, Ukrainian, China, etc. America is a country of free elections, free speech and free petitions to the government. So, what happened to the people who came to the Capitol for their freedom to vote on January 6, 2021, to support the president they elected, were arrested, beaten, and charged? Went to jail? America's freedom to vote and freedom of assembly, then, has been blatantly and barbarically violated and has been suppressed by the force of the government. Then the freedom of the people has been taken away at the hands of the government's lies and violence? We, the people of America, America is the country that worships God. But we do not worship the government. We respect freedom and respect the truth, respect good people who dare to sacrifice themselves for the country and for the society. But we don't want an evil government, repressive by force and lies. The president's lack of moral principle, and lack of moral character of a human. Joe Biden caused the civil war between President Trump and the Republican Party. He has repeatedly declared to the press and the public that the Republican Party and the people support it. MAGA is criminals and uneducated fools and is wild people, perverts who dare to oppose his democracy. It is a crime of contempt for the people, the crime of defaming the people and harming the people. Deceiving people. Joe Biden on charges of inhumanity, ungratefulness, dishonesty, a serious violation of human rights law, disobedience to the Constitution, and ignorance. The president's lack of moral principle, and lack of moral character of a human. Enact a law on abortion that kills unborn babies, covers up criminals, and releases prisoners to harm people. Let the situation of homelessness and crime and fraud, and commit suicide spread throughout the United States. Those are terrible problems and high crimes that need to be condemned and put in jail. In addition, America's democracy is being tragically violated and taken away by the government. America's democracy is founded on the foundation of the people, by the people, and for the people. All decision-making rights are created by the people. The government is also elected by the people, and the right to freely vote, and free speech, from which to appeal to the government, will never be changed or taken away. If an existing government does not solve the problems of society and life for the people, causing riots and discontent among the people, then we are the people with the right to vote and elect a new government, a new president to meet the actual requirements and social problems of the people first. But we don't need a bad president and a puppet government, lying, corrupt, bureaucratic, using power for personal gain, and using violence to oppress the people. It is time for government lies and abuse of power to be condemned and changed. America's democracy was founded by the people and for the people. Therefore, the decision-making power belongs to the vote of the people. In fact, the government did not take care of the people but was taking advantage of the people for personal gain. So, we demand that another president and a new government be changed immediately. While the people living in the country, the hungry people, the poor people, the homeless people, the miserable people, the thieves, the criminals, and the scammers commit suicide are spreading all over the U.S., but the government is not worried, so please ask the government, what is the government worried about? And where is the democracy of people? That is for the people and by the people? And why let illegal immigrants spread into the U.S. in an uncontrolled and disorderly manner? Is there no specific plan for the new immigrants to integrate into the new life in America? Why, while the people in the country are still so poor, the people are miserable and homeless, crimes, scams, fraud, and bankruptcies are spread around the country, and the government can't take care of it, please. Please don't let more illegal immigrants enter the United States until the government has finished solving the homeless, the hungry, the poor, the miserable, the thieves, the criminals, the scammers, and the bankruptcies that are rampant throughout the U.S. Then the government can accept new immigrants. As for the current situation, people in the country are worried about illegal immigrants in a massive and disorderly manner, without a plan for them to integrate and live a new life in the U.S. Then there will be riots and serious crises and economic recession. In addition to the dissatisfaction of the people in the country, there will be many consequences of increased crime, theft, and homeless. Since when do politicians and people who have been elected by the people to work for the people have the right to decide on their own votes in favor of the president on behalf of the people? While outside the White House, there are more than 60,000 people gathered to scream and beg Congress to let them confirm the election results in 2020. Since when has the hearts of American politicians become so hard and inanimate? Since when has the conscience of our statements become overpowered and irresponsible to the people? Who dares to decide everything on his own and turn his back on the people gathered outside the Capitol like that? All those who have ruled for the outcome of the 2020 election and convicted innocent people have stood up for their freedom to vote. So please reconsider what you do. Is it the same as what the Chinese Communist Party is doing? If you don't wake up, the world will be destroyed by the communists. Why do you allow a foreign police agency to be based and operate in your own country? Why do you see cruelty and grievances, crimes, scam, homeless that you do not care about? Or do you just need to receive a lot of bribes and have a lot of money and the communists' pretty girls? And you can sell all your conscience and sell the country and sell the people to the communists? Politicians are people elected by the people to serve the people, not to serve their own interests, not to massacre people. Further in the Constitution, Article 4, Section 4 Republican government the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. Therefore, all 50 states of America must follow the Constitution to protect the Constitution and guarantee the Republican government in all states and protect each of them against the invasion of the Democratic Party and the presidency against civil war. I declare all the states that voted for democracy and took control of the government immediately return control and give power back to the Republican Party. Because the founders of the United States of America wrote the Constitution of the United States of America, the founders were assured that the government of the United States would be ruled by Americans, and the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union the Republican government. All the states that have voted for Democrats are in violation of the Constitutional and need to be impeached and removed immediately. All of you are judges, lawmakers, and lawyers, people who have been studying law since they were in school. Yet even the basic laws in the book of the Constitution of the United States, which you have not learned by heart, have not been properly implemented. Then how can you make laws and make people follow you? All of you who know the laws but dare to deliberately violate the law, to violate law deliberately, your crimes will be punished by trillion and trillion times heavier. Amendment 26th. only citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older can vote. Joe Biden has tried to enact a law allowing non-U.S. citizens to vote, which is treason and a flagrant violation of the Constitution, and an abuse of power. In all of this, Joseph Robinette Biden has undermined the integrity of his office, has brought disrepute onto the presidency, has betrayed his trust as president, and has acted in a manner subversive of the rule of law and justice to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, Joseph Robinette Biden, by such conduct, warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office and put in jail, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Lastly, we will need to go back to the oath, the sworn promise to do impartial justice according to the Constitution. Impartial justice, described as upright, well-qualified, lawful disinterested, and impartial, sworn to render a true verdict according to the law in impeachment cases, must follow the law, regardless of the outcome. With the current Senate split 50-50 between Republicans and Democrats and having operated recently with, shall we say, a high level of partisanship, the first challenge is for the jurors to set aside any preconceived notions. Factors such as the political parties to which they belong, that apparently did not go so well with the trials in the two recent impeachment cases. As only one senator in the first case and then 7 in the second voted the way others in their parties did not. In fact, those few are the only United States senators ever who have voted to convict a president of their own party. No one single Republican has a voice that's ready to speak for justice now. Not a single Democrat has displayed the courage to stand up to a defeated president to protect America's Constitution. Not one. Not one. It's really a partisan war and disregard for the law. And those politicians must be excluded and removed. Moreover, now our politicians are no longer loyal to the oath of the Constitution and loyalty to the country and to the people. But they have gradually become people who, for personal gain, sell all their honor, conscience, and country for the gain themselves. The proof is that they broke the provisions of the Constitution and let the Democrats and criminals take over the power. Sadly, the United States Senate, designed to be the world's greatest deliberative body, has been rendered a shell of its and has been seen as a cover for lies, crimes, and abuse of power. We need to restore the institution of the Senate the way it was designed to be, and the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union the Republican government. Whichever way any future impeachment case turns out, it would be helpful for our country if there were a sense that the verdict rendered was indeed impartial and is as required by law. That sense helps the parties deal with the results of normal cases, and it would be particularly healing in an impeachment scenario. These trials always come at a time when our country desperately needs healing. Today, I am a powerful Queen Mary in heaven. I'm a supreme judge in the universe. I am the one who created this universe and a citizen of the United States of America. With all the foregoing, I hereby declare the President, Vice President, and all his civil officers, including Mitch McConnell, Elaine Chao, Chuck Schumer, etc., shall be removed from office following this impeachment now, and I will become the President of the United States immediately. Because the founders of the Constitution, knowing the invasion of immigrants, enacted a law that guaranteed the U.S. government a republic. The Constitution of the United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republican form of government. And I'm the first and only person to condemn and jail Joe Biden and the Democrats for treason and for breaking the oath of allegiance to the United States. And breaking the oath of allegiance to the Constitution, abuse of power, bribery, seriously violating the Constitution, and harming the American people. They must be removed and imprisoned immediately to protect America, and I alone deserve to be the next President of the United States. Because I alone dare condemn and expose the crimes and sins of the current president, as well as the lies and sins of his Democratic Party. I alone dare to fight evil and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and I am the only one who dares to sacrifice my life to protect human rights and protect human moral values. And I will bring America and the world out of the life of sins and crimes, out of the evil of the Communist Party and Democratic Party, and out of the devil. That's why I will officially become the President of the United States immediately. And Joe Biden and his officials must go to jail and must work in jail to pay back for the victims who are all the people of America, crimes, homeless, and fraud, scam, etc. who have died by suicide, by war, by crimes, by murderers, and for the high crimes committed by President Joe Biden and his ruling party. This clear and undeniable witness and testimony, I declare to the Supreme Court, to Congress, and to the entire American people: immediately remove Joe Biden and his officials from the White House, put them in jail, and I will officially become the President of the United States of America immediately, so that I can celebrate Christmas on December 24th this year in the White House for my only beloved Son Jesus Christ, to build a lasting 1,000-year kingdom of God, officially founded and proclaimed by me, the Virgin Queen Mary, the Supreme Judge of the universe who was born this universe. In the beginning, everything is nothing, all is zero. There is no light, there is no movement in the universe, there is no time and space, there is nothing but me, the cold and darkness. And I was created out of nothing. I'm the only one left over the time. I am an eternity and is existence by myself. Here is the original cosmological equation. God equals 0 equals 0 equals plus 0 0 equals plus God. I am Eve, great-grandmother of all humans today. I was born in Eden Garden equals Honolulu. Now my birthday was 0 0 0 0 equals 0. Anyone who disobeys, anyone who wants to oppose God and wants to do evil and sinful things will immediately go to hell for daring to rebel against God and Mother of God, Mother of the earth, Mother of the universe, Virgin Queen Mary, who was born this universe. Because I am the woman who had a long-standing feud with the poisonous snake in the old Garden of Eden, Eve. The woman will smash the snake's head into hell because of all the evil it has done to her descendants. I am the Mother of God, who was before all eternity. And I, myself, will smash the head of the old snake into hell with all those wicked people who followed it. For me, God was created to govern this universe, and because I am the mother of this universe. So, I am the supreme judge of the universe, the only one who can decide everything. I can give birth to anyone, and I also can take anyone to hell or disappear if you disobey me. What I hate most are ungrateful people and fraudsters and demons who commit many crimes, evil. Today I come to end a reign of evil and its followers. I am Eve, Mother of the earth, Mother of the universe, your ancestors. I come to earth to become a human again, to build a stable 1,000-year dynasty of the Mother of God, who is me. The Bible already speaks of my millennial reign from the times of the Old Testament. This is a new heaven and new earth on this earth, and this dynasty will last forever. As I said, I will be the woman who will smash the head of the old snake into hell. I will also be the one who will bang the head of anyone who doesn't know how to bow and correct mistakes. Who are stubborn, those who know who I am and deliberately oppose me. Then you don't blame me for going on my rampage. I can make the White House become a blood house. All employees who work for the government must not receive bribes or corruption. If found, they will be sentenced to prison and must work in prison to compensate the government for damages. And after being released from prison, they will never be able to return to work for the government again. Only such strong laws can maintain good discipline and integrity in government. All employees working in the government, if during their work they can point out the shortcomings or mistakes of the law enforcement agency and give their opinions and methods of amending, then they will be rewarded and promoted because they have made good contributions to the country and society. In addition to the salary issue, all government employees are entitled to health care coverage for themselves and mom and dad over 65 years old, and cover for children under 25 years old, and cover for anyone in the family who has a disability. And, of course, you will be entitled to a pension if you work for more than 20 years according to current regulations. You will be provided with a full range of protective tools and labor safety protection depending on the assigned work. I make such changes because if all employees work in government, work in a good environment, and are treated with good wages, they secure their lives and their families. Then, they will not be foolish enough to take bribes or do wrong things. To lose a good long-term job and secure a future for their whole family. Guarantee that everyone who works in the government will also receive a guaranteed wage for their lives and will never have to accept bribes or illicit money to betray the people and betray the country. And those who are not good do not follow my rules because of their unlimited greed, take bribes, and do illegal things. When they are discovered, they must be severely punished by the law and sent to prison for personality retraining to be human. They must work in prison to compensate for the damage they have caused to the government and to society. Only such strict laws can punish those who disregard the law and despise society. I will make America the greatest country and unify the world. This is what I will lead the world to be. 1. For God. 2. For the good. 3. For the happiness. 4. For Republican. 5. For Patriots. 6. For Veterans. 7. For military, the heroes. 8. For the good police. 9. For wisdom leader. 10. For martyrs saints. 11. For the light. 12. For the right. 13. For the truth. 14. For the justice. 14. For the future generation. 15. For the fair. 16. For the gratitude, the loyalty. 17. For the wisdom of teacher. 18. For the rights of parents, rights of women and children. 19. For Buddha. 20. For the freedom. 21. For the happy life. 22. For the health care. We demand no war, no fight, no homeless, no crime, no abuse, no abortion, no domestic violence, no sex assault, no human traffics, no fascist, no terrorism, no abuse of power, no lies, no scammers, no stealing, no suicide, no bad, no evil government. I will bring all the homeless, the mental health victims, come back to normal life, guarantee no evil government, and make the earth become the new heaven earth ever after. Today, with the power of a Queen Mary of heaven, Mother of the universe, Mother of God, and the power of the Supreme Judge of the universe, I hereby request the Supreme Court of the United States and the National Assembly to immediately implement the above orders. Those are orders of the Supreme Judge in this universe. The tree wanted to be still, but the wind won't stop blowing at it. The apple does not fall far from the tree. The king's son becomes a king. The monk at the temple sweeps banyan leaves. I am the mother of the universe, and I am the supreme judge of the universe, and I am the Alpha and Omega, and I am the first and the last. And I am the beginning and the ending, and mother of the earth, and mother of God, and mother of Jesus, and mother of all gods, and mother of Buddha, and mother of all things. And the Queen Mary in heaven, the President of the United States, and the leader of the world, and Cinderella and the fairy god of happiness. I am the storm. I am the tsunami. I am the thunder. I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and unlimited. I come from nothing, and I make everything. Everything that comes from me then will disappear from me. Hong Vu, Mary, Mary Mercy, Eve, Mother of God, Mother of Universe, etc. End of the impeachment. After I submitted my impeachment to government agencies on November 18, 2021. Then on December 24, 2022, I also formally went to Capitol Hill and to the Supreme Court of the U.S. to inquire about the impeachment of Joe Biden and all his officials and the Democrats. But they refused to meet me, and they put me in a mental hospital to silence me and force me to go home. It is proof of the unreasonable persecution to silence a God who created this universe and to cover up the wrongdoings and evil sins of wicked rulers. So, after you read these words of mine, then please stand up with me, to fight the Democrats, to fight the wicked and the demons who are at the head of the government apparatus of the Democrats' Party and communism. To protect the good people, to protect justice and to protect yourself, to defend the Constitution of America, to protect this country and protect future generations. As I said, this is the last chance for mankind to correct their mistakes. Please don't let the Democrats' Party continue to manage and govern this country anymore. Please stop them. If they don't listen, all the bad guys will go to hell. I won't forgive those who dare to look down on God and those who commit evil sins. Maybe they will kill me to cover my mouth very soon. And disaster will happen to mankind. Again, the day I will die is also the day disaster will happen, and I will bring all the bad people to hell. Right now, I can only bring truth and light to everyone so that people can realize the truth for themselves and don't let the evil spirits continue to rule and harm people anymore. Stand up and save yourself. Save people, save children, save America, and save the world. Using your vote for good people, for the Republican Party, to save yourself, save America, and save the world. Look, even me. I said I am God. I am the mother of the universe who created this universe, yet they dare to oppose me and harm me. Do they think I can create them, but I can't do anything about them? I knew in advance that they would rebel against me and want to kill me to steal all that belongs to me because I am a god, so they hate me. But I'm immortal, and they can't kill me. But I can turn them into anything and send them to hell whenever they dare to mess around or betray me. Don't let the communists and Democrats deceive and harm you and the people anymore. Now it's time for all the people of the United States, children of God, descendants of Adam and Eve. All of you know the truth. Please stand up and stand against the enemy, the devils. Let's crush the old snake's head to hell. As I said above, this is not the time when America's two political parties fight and destroy each other. But this is the time when the two parties must work together and help each other, to make America great again and to unify the world. And to avoid World War III will happen. The risk of nuclear war is very terrible, and there will be a lot of innocent people who will have to die. Because Xi Jinping is a poisonous snake. And he wants to make the whole world become hell under his traps. This is the time for Democrats must return the control of America to Republicans and must repent and pay penance. All those who have done wrong and stolen other people's money must return their money for compensation and damage, or when they die will send to hell without mercy. It's time for all of us as Americans, please wake up. We must pray with God, not for our own sake, and forget the duty of the whole world. Please look at the real America now. How many homeless people are out of their sleep on the hot and cold streets without any hope, and the government does not care for them? What does the government care about? But for people who are living in the country, the government doesn't care about them. Do you know what sanctuary city means? It means that they don't want any government. Or they do not care about the government. If the government doesn't want any homeless out there on the streets, then please close the border and never let anyone come here anymore so they will not become homeless, please. Bad people just lie to you. They just use sweet words to deceive you to get your vote. To get your money, to get your assets, to get everything from you, and put you on the street to become homeless. Look at all the homeless people on the street, then you already know. That is the proof of the government's lies. They just want to sit on top to take over the government's power and manipulate it for profit, to be rich forever. And to force the people to be their slaves forever so that they can do whatever they want. If anyone wants to denounce them, they will kill that person to silence them, to silence the people. To fool the people, to do lies, cruelty, evil, and sin. It's just because they've gotten used to the damned rule to oppress people. Let's see how long they're bossy. Do you think God doesn't punish those bad and evil? You see a dog. Who do you think would have to be a dog so you can be human? Those who were bad and evil, who are miserable, uneducated people. Go to steal and swindle other people's money, then I let them be dogs, scarab, an animal, or go to hell. Do you think you can be human forever? Why don't you think about good and bad? If you are good, you will be human. If you are bad, you will be a dog, a cat, an ant, a scarab, an animal, or go to hell. God is not stupid. God is the roof of wisdom. God can create the universe. God also has the rule to manage the universe. This is the law of heaven. Please change your laws to follow the law of God as follows. Whoever makes the mistakes, they must fix the mistakes. Whoever makes the problems, they must fix the problems. Whoever makes the debts, they must pay for the debts. Bankruptcies only can forgive the interest. Bankruptcies cannot forgive the initial capital. Whoever forgives the bankruptcies for initial capital, they must pay for the debt of initial capital. People must take responsibility for whatever they do for others. They could not let one people do it, and other people must suffer. That impossible. Whoever makes the laws must follow their laws. Whoever makes the rules must follow their rules. Whoever makes the promises, they must keep their promises. Whoever makes the contracts, they must keep their contracts. Whoever uses lies to scam other people's money or assets, they must pay for what they have been lied to. Whoever makes the homeless, they must take care of the homeless. Whoever makes the war, they must become the victim of the war in hell. Whoever does illegal things must go to jail and work in jail to pay back for victims. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. If you owe money, you will pay with money. If you owe blood, you will pay with blood. Whoever does the wrong thing, that person must suffer. Who does the right thing, that person will benefit. Do good, good return. Do bad, bad return. There's no such thing as stealing or defrauding other people's money or assets to get rich. Those people must burn it all alive, let it live to dishonor mankind. Good people are rewarded. The bad guys burn it with gasoline and fire to send it to hell. To keep peace of mind for mankind. Whoever kills good people, they must die for good people. Whoever kills bad people, they will have a good reward. Whoever dies for others, they will live forever. Please help honest people. Protect the good and the right people. All the bad and evil must go to jail and hell. God has His laws. God is the justice. God is the truth, the way, the light, and the love. Whoever believes in God will find the way and will follow His laws. God is very generous. God will not give you back one by one. God will give you back one by trillion. It means that if you do one good thing for others, God will give you back 1 trillion good things in heaven. If you do one bad thing for others, God will give you back 1 trillion bad things in hell. Again, good or bad, that is your choice, and you must take responsibility for whatever you do for others. It's time for us to change the blood of America and make the leaders of crime pay for their own crimes against humanity. Please vote for good people only, who will take care of you when you are sick and protect you and give you a fair trial when you are oppressed and work for you. Not to profit themselves. In conclusion, we must remember that God's punishment is not a reflection of His hatred or anger but a manifestation of His justice and righteousness. The truth of God is that those who live well will be rewarded well, while those who live evil will suffer evil. Let us all strive to live a life of love and goodness and bring peace to the world. I come to this world to call everyone to repent because the kingdom of God is nearby. This is the last part of chapter 3, the truth of government in the book God's Truth. I will continue to introduce to you the next part of the book in the next chapter, chapter 4, God's kingdom on the earth. Please continue to your journey of discovering. Thank you for your interest and following, and see you again. Mary Mercy, God.